Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to our Metallica discography. So, for those who are not in the know and want to know just what the hell is going on, not about this, just in general, in the current year, 2026, I plan on sewing everything up and putting a neat little bow on our time with Metallica, culminating on Christmas Day of the current year, 2026, a neat little video called Every Single Metallica Song Ranked from Worst to Best. In short, it does sort of what it says on its tin, but in order to get to that particular stage, we have to go through Metallica's entire library one last time. And even though, funny enough, one of the first albums that I actually finished doing when I first started doing this 8 years ago was ironically Metallica's Load. And there's quite a lot of stuff on this I'm already quite nostalgic for, so it kind of makes the idea of ranking some of these a little bit harder than it might seem otherwise. But if one thing is for certain is that some of my absolute favourite things that Metallica certainly do is the idea of conveying really, really personal stories and fitting them into something incredibly strong, I want to say. And The House That Jack Built is quite another one of those occasions. And the only thing I want to add just before we get started is that even though I don't quite know where I think this is going to place in the overall ranking, I feel that it might be one of those cases where if it was too high, I think, can I say it's better than A, B, and C? But if it's too low, is it as all right or okay as X, Y, and Z? So this is going to present me with a few problems. And for those who don't know why it's going to present me with a few problems, well, allow me to demonstrate. Because this is where I feel like the shift in Metallica's music really sort of sets in, and I think it is because of this. And it's probably for the better, but let's see what we think.
Open door so I walk inside. Close my eyes, find my place to hide. And I shake as I take it in. Let the show begin.
So I walk inside. Close my eyes, find my place to hide. As I shake, as I take it in, let the show begin.
control. Hey, it takes me down and down and down again. Is that the moon? Or just light that lights this dead end street? Is that you there? Or just another demon that I meet? The higher you are, the farther you fall. The longer the walk, the farther you crawl. My body, my temple, this temple it tilts. Step into the house that Jack built. The higher you are, the farther you fall. The longer the walk, the farther
You call my body, my temple, this temple it tilts.
This is a house that Jack built. Yeah.
Open door, yes I walk inside. Swallow me till the pain subsides.
And I shake as I take this in. Let the show begin. The higher you are, the farther you fall. The longer the walk, the farther you crawl. My body, my temple, this temple it tilts. This is a house that Jack built. The higher you are, the farther you fall. Longer the walk, the farther you crawl. My body, my temple, this temple it tilts. Yes, I am, I am, I open my eyes. It swallows me. Is that you there? I twist away, away,
You know, I thought I was going to end this by saying, was that like a tambourine they had playing at the very end? But no, but that's a chilling little way to end that, as though the story let the show finally end. Because I think I remember saying that this is apparently got a lot to do with like Hetfield's like childhood abuse and how there's a lot of references to this about open my eyes just to have them close, because, well, let the show begin implies entertainment or being beaten and bullied and stuff like that. And there's a lot of really hard-hitting stuff in stuff like this, but I will just state is that yeah, it's what I find again striking about all of this is the fact that, well, Hetfield absolutely just Hetfield is very, very underrated as a singer, because let's think about it. He could do the really hard stuff. He could do a lot of the softer stuff, and then he could do the stuff that seems almost out of this world, and then he could do the sort of thing that sounds a little too much down to earth. The sort of thing that's straight. It's literally this. Because it's pretty much the song is about him. He is pretty much the man who has become a product of his own environment. And I think that's such a I just love the idea of, well, this entire album almost becoming an anarchism of like so many different aspects of so many. It's like if this album was just called The House That Jack Built, then literally every single square foot of this house contains memories, ideas, thoughts, attitudes, and, well, different methods of the time of day, and it all sort of comes together in what feels like it's like pent up frustration and testosterone all across not just this song, but also just throughout this entire album. There's something almost undeniable living in this album, and it's dying to get out. Which does raise a question, is Reload like the opposite to this? There is something that's trying to get back in? Well, we'll have to wait and see by the time that comes out, or maybe it's just sort of a continuation of that idea on a larger scale. But speaking of larger scales, where exactly would I... And I spoke about this in the beginning, because I felt like wherever I place this, I feel like it would sort of... I think that's where I think it's going to be. Yeah, as I mentioned before, this is not exactly going to be a very easy operation to decide where certain things are going to go where. I am prepared to say, however, that I think that's good for what we have. Although, again, this is very, very subject to change. But with that being said, and guess what? There are more songs of this archetype coming soon, and even though I feel like some are slightly better than others, well, the point still stands, and the memory still very much remains. And I will be seeing all of you guys again next time. Thank you.